Hello, my name is Anna Colleton. The purpose of this presentation is for you all to learn about my accommodations and what you can do to help me learn as much as I can. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who took the time to give me feedback regarding my accommodations presentation. Your feedback allows me to make these presentations more helpful for my future teachers each year. I would also like to thank all of you for taking the time to view this presentation. I would also like to thank all of you for taking the time to view this presentation. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the presentation. Part 1. How do humans hear? Before I can talk to you about my accommodations, I need to show you how normal ears work. Here is a short video that shows how the ear works. After this video, I will explain how my ear works.
Have you ever wondered how sounds make their way from the source all the way to your brain? Take a trumpet, for instance. When it's played, it makes sound waves in the air. The outer ear catches the waves, which then travel through a narrow passageway called the ear canal. The sound waves reach the eardrum, which is a membrane roughly half the size of a dime. They make the eardrum vibrate, which in turn vibrates 3 tiny bones called the malleus, incus, and stapes. These bones amplify or increase the sound vibrations and send them to the cochlea. The cochlea is shaped like a snail and is the size of a garden pea. It is filled with fluid, and the sound vibrations make this fluid ripple, which creates waves. Hair-like structures called stereocilia sit on top of hair cells and are grouped together as hair cell bundles inside the cochlea. The hair cells inside the cochlea ride these waves, and the hair bundles are moved. The hair bundle on top of the hair cell turns these movements into electrical signals. As the hair bundles are moved, ions rush into the top of the hair cells, causing the release of chemicals at the bottom of the hair cells. The chemicals bind to the auditory nerve cells and create an electrical signal, which travels along the auditory nerve to the brain. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies of sound. The hair cells at the base of the cochlea detect higher-pitched sounds, such as a piccolo or flute. The hair cells toward the top of the spiral detect progressively lower-pitched sounds, such as a trumpet or trombone. At the very top or apex of the spiral, the hair cells detect the lowest-pitched sounds, such as a tuba. The auditory nerve carries the electrical signal to the brain, which interprets the messages as sounds that we recognize and understand.
Wasn't that interesting? This is how my left ear hears. My right ear, however, doesn't have a hole for sound to enter in. Without a hearing aid on the right side of my head, I can only hear what my left ear can understand. This is why I need hearing aids. In the next set of slides, I will show you how this all works together. Welcome back. In this set of slides, I will inform you about my hearing loss and hearing loss in general. Part 2. My hearing loss. When describing a hearing loss, you can say a unilateral or bilateral. A unilateral hearing loss is where hearing is normal in one ear and impaired in the other. Bilateral hearing loss is where hearing is impaired in both ears. This can be symmetrical or asymmetrical. There are 3 major types of hearing losses: conductive, sensorineural, or mixed. A conductive hearing loss is a hearing loss where there is a problem sending sound waves along the route through the outer ear, eardrum, or middle ear. Sensorineural, or SNHL, is a hearing loss that occurs because of the damage of a nerve, the inner ear, or central processing centers of the brain. This causes the brain to not be able to interpret sounds in the right way. A mixed hearing loss is a combination of both conductive and sensorineural. There are many degrees of hearing losses. A normal degree of hearing is 10 to 20 decibels. This is the typical everyday hearing for people without a hearing loss. A mild hearing loss is where you may not be able to hear 20 to 40 decibels. So this one would be only soft sounds cannot be heard, like whispers, birds chirping, or wind. A moderate hearing loss is 40 to 60 decibels. This is where sounds cannot be heard until they become fairly loud, like conversations or speeches. A severe hearing loss is 60 to 80 decibels. Only very loud sounds can be heard, like vacuums, dog barks, or pianos. A profound hearing loss, 80 or more decibels that you cannot hear. Only very loud sounds can be heard, like a rock band, a concert, etc. There are many types of hearing losses that can be diagnosed. The two important ones that I want you to know are microtia and atresia. Microtia is where the outer ear was not tiny or not present at birth. Atresia is where there are no holes for sounds to enter in. To help you get a feel for what a hearing loss really sounds like, here's a 1-minute video that is a simulation of the degrees of a hearing loss.
I read in the newspaper today that a new theatre is opening. Isn't it great?
Sure is. What plays are they showing?
I think it will be the one we saw last year. Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Do you want to go and see it again?
The play is so good, it will probably be worth it.
You're right. It's always interesting to see if they do it a different way.
The director is relatively unknown as well.
These new directors usually have a different perspective of showing things too. We should see that play.
Good. Let's ask some friends. I'll find out who's interested.
Okay. I guess we'll have some time to make arrangements, right?
The theatre won't open for another 4 months, but I'm sure they'll start selling tickets soon.
In that case, we should buy the tickets. They'll sell out fast.
Right, let's find it good.
What do I have? I was born with microtia with atresia. I have a mixed hearing loss, which includes both conductive and sensorineural. My left ear has normal hearing for sounds, but I do not have a lot of language centers in the right side of my brain. My right ear has a moderate to severe degree of hearing loss. Therefore, I need to work extra hard to hear and understand words. In the next part, I will show you my hearing equipment. Now that I have told you about my hearing loss, I can now introduce to you my hearing equipment. First, I will show you what I will be wearing, then I will show you what you will be wearing. I have a titanium screw in my head that sticks out just enough to snap a special bone-anchored hearing aid onto it. This is called a baha. The screw is permanent and I try hard to protect it from getting bumped. This is the screw and this is the hearing aid that snaps onto it. The aid vibrates when there is sound, and by some miracle, it bypasses my middle ear and goes straight to the brain where it can be interpreted. To give you a feel for what and how this bone conduction hearing aid, or baha, works, I found a video to help you understand this.
How the Cochlear Baha Connect system works. The Baha Connect system uses a small abutment to attach the sound processor directly to the implant. The sound processor picks up sound vibrations from the environment. The sound vibrations are transferred through the abutment to a small titanium implant inserted in the bone behind the ear. The sound vibrations are then sent directly through the bone to the inner ear, or cochlea, where they are converted into electrical impulses by tiny hair cells inside the cochlea. These impulses travel to the brain, allowing you to perceive sound naturally.
This is the aid I wear in my left ear. I wear this so that your voice reaches my ear before other competing noises. I'll touch on this again in a minute. This is my neck loop. It is also known as my streamer, and I will wear it to my classes. The purpose of this is to wirelessly connect your voice via the transmitter to both of my hearing aids. There are two ways to wear the streamer. I could wear it around my neck like a necklace, or I can wear it as a clip that clips to my clothes. This is my receiver. It attaches to my streamer, and its purpose is to make sure that both of my hearing aids get what is said in the microphone that you will be wearing. How can I control the sounds? The streamer has controls on it so that I can change the volume of your voice and mute it as needed. You will be able to mute your transmitter, and I will get to that next. This is your FM transmitter. I only have one, so I will bring it to class and have it ready for you to use. When class is finished, I will come up and retrieve it from you. Most teachers prefer to wear it around their neck like a necklace, but you can also stick it in your pocket or clip it to your belt. This is your microphone connected to the transmitter that needs to clip to your collar or somewhere up high 6 inches from your chin. There is one other microphone that you may have to wear. This is called the mini microphone, a smaller microphone that can clip to your shirt or you can wear it around your neck. Make sure that it is facing towards your mouth at least 6 inches from your chin. Since I use a system to send different audio sources into my sound processor, I use the ConnectLine app to control the devices. Just like the streamer, I can use this app to control my hearing equipment. I have this app on my iPhone and my iPad. Here are some helpful hints to keep in mind when you are wearing the microphone. When wearing the transmitter, please do not put anything over it like a scarf. Please do not chew gum. When wearing the transmitter, please do not wear a necklace, name tag, or name badge, or allow it to get bumped. Make sure the microphone is facing your mouth and at least 6 inches from your chin. And remember, you can speak in your normal tone of voice. If you speak loudly or need to yell for some reason, my equipment automatically adjusts so that you are not hurting my ears. Part 4. Helpful hints in the classroom setting. Here is some helpful information for you to keep in mind in the classroom setting. Preferential sitting. One of my accommodations given to me is preferential sitting. I typically need to sit in the first row or somewhere close to where you lecture. Let's look at some examples. Along with the seating preference, here are some good things to know. Another one of my accommodations is repeating what is said by another student or person who is not wearing the microphone. If a student answers a question or asks a question, please point in the general direction of where she is located. I can usually make out what the sound or speaker is saying, but I am not always able to tell from which direction the sound is coming from. The rooms that are most difficult for me to listen in are poor or large ones where there is a lot of activity taking place. Poor acoustics, whistles, sounds, and bright lights are confusing, overstimulating, and irritating to me. Lastly, listening is hard work and tiring for me, and I get headaches by the end of the school day. Part 5. Problems associated with my hearing loss. During this set of slides, I will talk to you about some very important information regarding my life with a hearing loss. Having a hearing loss is not easy. Imagine living a life without hearing clearly. The following are common problems I face in my everyday life. I cannot tell which direction sound is coming from. Hearing aids do not correct the hearing loss, but only work to help the hearing I have left. Hearing aids cannot correct how I hear or interpret the sound. Some sounds may be annoying to me, but not to you. I get tired from listening and get headaches by the end of each day. Listening is hard work. Being in a room with poor acoustics, whistles, shouts, and bright lights is confusing, overstimulating, and irritating to me. I love the outdoors, but the acoustics aren't great. The wind interferes with hearing, and sweating, rain, and dust eventually damages the aids. Part 6. Questions commonly asked by previous teachers. In this set of slides, I will answer questions that are commonly asked by teachers like you. After that, you can ask me any questions that you may have. No, you will be asked to wear it when you are teaching or lecturing important information to the class. When you are done teaching the important information, you may take off the transmitter and place it on or near my desk. What do I say or do if another student asks me what I have on? This was commonly asked during freshman year. Tell the student or students to come ask me personally. You could also say, "It's Verona," to help her hear better. I get to wear the microphone to help you hear better. How can you still hear other people, like friends, people in the halls, or a person during a one-on-one talk, without the microphone? Since I have hearing loss on one side, I can usually hear sounds without the hearing equipment, but cannot make out the words. Even when the microphone is on, I still have my hearing aids on and running. It just doesn't directly receive the input from the microphone you wear. I have a friend who has one hearing ear like you. She doesn't wear a hearing aid. Why do you? Some people with one ear can do great. When it comes to everyday speaking, I was not one of them. One of your accommodations is regarding outlines, assignments, and note-taking. Can you explain how this will work? In the past, teachers sent me a document of the week. They would include the agenda for each day and the homework they are planning to give. They would also include either a PDF document or a link to their presentations, outlines, notes, etc. In addition to that, they also gave the approximate date for their assessments, quizzes, finals, midterms, etc. This way, I can contact my accommodations counselor and let her know about the upcoming exams, and I can contact you to find a good time that works for both of us. It is okay if you do not know the exact date for lessons, notes, exams, etc. Just giving me a tentative outline is good. If you would like to see some examples of what previous teachers did, please view the website. I also have downloadable and editable templates for you if you would like to check those out also. Your accommodations mentioned something about extra time on tests, exams, and quizzes. How will this work? People who struggle with a hearing loss tend to take more time comprehending words. Even if on paper, it is still very difficult and can take time. In previous years, I scheduled a time with the teacher to start the test. The questions I didn't get to would be finished during class. In the beginning of the school year, I will start by taking extra time on the first test and/or quiz and see how it goes. Sometimes I may find that I may not need extra time. Despite that, it is still something that should always be considered. Can you tell me more about the recording of classes accommodation? Even with the hearing equipment on and working, I cannot be guaranteed that I will hear everything correctly. This is why I have this accommodation. What does this mean? I will not record everything that happens during your class. I will just record your lessons or your discussions that are related to what you are teaching. My hearing equipment does not record you or the class. My laptop will be the recorder. This means that I may have my laptop open when others do not. I teach using online presentations like PowerPoint presentations, Google Slides, etc. What should I do when using those? If you could give me a PDF copy or of your presentation, that would be very helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this presentation.